of the week. 8. Autem. However, moreover, he inclaruit. He shone bright with a quibus bonus, with a goodness of justice, so with a goodness of his just sense. Multa. There are many significance, many hints or examples. Primo, in the first place, there was erat pro, should take an ablative, pro distinctions. So you would have distinctions of circumstances, which is rare, men of men, so he'd take into consideration who they were and their circumstances. Sine crudality, without cruelty, he was terrible, so terrible means more awe-inspiring. You get that with horribilis as well, and venerable. And second place, day in day, he cohibibated vitia, so he checked vices with discriminations again of a few people, of making examples out of a few people, and tum, and then moreover again, because he used threats, minabator, with iron, he made threats with a sword or whatever, podiusquam, rather than was using them. Okay, so his bark was more than his bite, sort of thing. So I might as well make that daily dictionary early. Terribilis, frightful, terrible, dreadful sort of thing. And it's transferable in late Latin, which we know Ammianus is, to demanding reverence and venerable. Okay, so it's like horribilis a bit there. 9. Postremo. So finally, as praeterea multa, as I'm passing over many things, constat. It means it's agreed. It's an impersonal verb. Him in open alikos imikos. Okay, there are some enemies of his openly who are inciditors, who made plots against him. Thus, consurrexed, they rose up in rebellion against him openly. He was mitissime, he was very mild to them, as the asperity, the harshness of the punishment, by his genuine or his natural born way, he castigated them or gave them their punishments with lenitude. So he was favourable towards people who hated him and tried to kill him. 10. Fortitudinem in the accusative, so his bravery, his fortitude, infrequent, crebitas curtaminum, infrequentness of his contests, he showed ostendance of use in war, so he showed a lot of bravery, which he used in war. And patientia, long suffering or whatever, was imanim, was monstrous or huge, of frigor and fervus, of cold and of heat, he had long suffering of these sort of things. Quoque also. The munus, gift, game, or duty of body from a soldier. Okay, so it looks like the duty of a body is demanded from a soldier, from the emperor, vero, but or moreover, it is demanded of mine. So, soldier's meant to use his duty of his body, but the emperor is going to use his gift of the mind also. Himself, one day, it looks like a trucem hostem. There was a wild or grim-looking enemy. He confected him, he finished him off with an ictu, with a blow. Audacta means boldly. Having congress meant he met him in the battlefield. And nostros sedentes, present participle, our man was seating, with his pector, with his chest objecto, so he cast forwards his chest towards them, the suo meaning he is, by sometimes casting his chest towards his men when they were retreating, he could cohibit their retreat soulless, alone, by doing this. The regna, neuter plural, the kingdoms of the furious Germans, they're furying about, he extended, looks like he destroyed kingdoms of these furious Germans, and in the pulvere vaporata, in the vaporous or heat-giving of steam-giving dust of Persians, he augurated, he increased his fiducium, the confidence, milites of his soldiers, by dimicans fighting amongst the primos in the front lines. 11. Castrensenim, that's of the camps, of the business, scientia, the knowledge. Okay, so many, plura, are declared and known of his science or of his knowledge of the business of running military camps, and of oppugnations, of besieging civitadums, cities, and of castellums, which are castles or forts. Inter ipsos, and even amongst the vertices, the top of these disagreements, of these dangers or crises. We've got the multiform composite figure. So the many-formed figures you could take in composing or making out your aches, which are battle lines. The salubrita, the healthiness, and cautiously metata, measuring out camps, the right place where it's safe and cautious to put a camp. The praetentura, prae usually means the stretch out in front, so the front tents and the stations agraria, tutus rationalis, and so ordinating in a good reasoning that's safe for putting his stations in for fields. It's probably agricultural things, and front line sort of guards, etc. 12. Auctoritas adeo valuit ut. So we have ut and adeo as correlatives. So his authority, valuit, prevailed or was strong, to such an extent, adeo ut, that artisme very tightly or closely, he was dilectus, he was loved, while he was timitor, while he was feared. And if, looks like since he was a socius, he was in there with the man, in terms of danger, socius of dangers and of labours, and it was inter the concertations, this would be very concentrated hard work or whatever, acerimus, very fierce or brave, he would order an adverti, which is punishment, towards the D-sides. These are the slothful people or the cowards. And ad hoc, while he was still a Caesar, in these later times, Augustus was you'd call your leaders the Augustus, and the second in command was the Caesar. Without stipendo, without payment, he would regorate, he would rule his military, his soldiers, opposotum ferus gentibans, against the wild races that they were fighting, as dudum some time ago, as dictum, of said or is said. And ad locutusque, and he would speak to the tumentes armatus. They got head-swelling armoured men, they're getting arrogant and proud. He would minotaur to them, he'd turn into a bull. Now he would threaten them that he would disgescurum, that's a future, he would leave to private life, unless they desisted their tumultuare, their revolt or whatever they were doing. 13. Deniqui. And finally, this, pro multus in the place of many, is sufficient to nossi, to know. He exhorted, in a simple assembly, a contion, the soldiers Gallicum, these Gallic soldiers, who were ad sutum, accustomed to proenus, which is frost, etc., cold weather, and the Rhine, which is a river, that they should per agratus spartis extensus regionum, that they should travel through vast extent spaces of the region, through to tepid or hot Assyria, and ad usque, as far as the confines, the borders, traxisi, that they would travel through or handle, of the Medes. Okay. 14. Felicitas. Luckiness, ita thus iminuit shone, as in itself, quodem modo, that means in a certain way, on the cervix, on the neck of fortune, aliquam dio, join them together, for some time, he was evectus. Okay, this is what's going on. His luckiness shone as he himself was evectus. He was carried in a certain way on the shoulders of fortune for some time, of good fortune. Victoriosus cursibus. In many, we call them battles, he was victorious. Superstaret, he survived or overcome immense difficulties, nearly done. Et postquam, and after, from the western plaga, the Accidua plaga, the western regions digressus, he had left, and coad, as long as fuit in terra, as long as he was on the earth. What have we got? Nominatives. All the nations were immobile, not wandering around, and they were at rest, and axi, as if a certain cadu, that's a wand, was lenienting the Monday. The world was, the Mondays, there's probably a variant on the world, as if the world was all soft and cuddly, I don't know, something like that.